And welcome again to the second session of High Vibe Channeling for this February 26, 2026. Tonight we have the extreme loving divine presence of Heidi Slater and the Divine Love Collective. It's always just goes straight back to the heart, and we all feel that, and it is a joy to behold. And she's been doing this for a couple of years now, many years before, but she has come public in the last couple of years, we will say. And she's got that glow about her. She loves it when people talk nice about her. Anything else you would like to say and introduce yourself, Heidi?
Um, yeah, so has it been even I think it's been about a year and it's just a journey full of love. I have a lot of connections to the land, the energy that runs along the grids. Um, I have had a lot of healing to do and um, working with my guides, which I believe are my ancestors. They've helped me so much in this, and so it's always a nice thing to be able to share a message and to share their loving energy with everyone. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you want to know.
Well, I know you've done grid work and it's in various places around the world. And that it to me it's always interesting that you always bring back a mystery and then later on it unfolds because you're curious about something that happened, and whether it's here or whether it's something else, and then you're like, and then I found out, and then it all kind of fits together, and it's just that joy of saying, oh my gosh, yeah, that it just all the pieces fit together, and I understand so much more now. It's like you access another field of information where more of it just makes sense.
Well, and the amazing thing about this whole, I keep calling it a journey, this whole path is that even in the mistakes, I'm learning. Even in my mistakes, I'm learning. You know, um, so uh, something upset me. I got dysregulated. I was not the politest person. And from that whole experience, I learned what was my responsibility, what I can do better. And, um, and I also learned that, we have, I think I mentioned this last time, that we have all of these intelligences uh, in us. So there's like, how do I explain this? So I believe that there are um, beings that have volunteered to be an element, or a rock or a tree, or and we've all taken turns doing this. And what is our body made of? It's made of earth. It's made of this these same elements. And we are taking that this whole universe that's within us um, on this experience with us. And part of my restoration of the choice I made that I wasn't too happy about, of my own behavior, the part of the restitution of that was to apologize to these beings that are with me, and to and part of it was to visualize and repair through visualization um, what would I have done differently, and then play that out, um, and visualize me doing that differently and taking my body through that journey, taking myself, my energy field through that journey. And that because I've learned that what we visualize, our body doesn't, what we visualize is what's real to our body. That's how our body reacts. And so that was part of the repair for me. So I just wanted to share, not every to me it was a profound lesson, and not every lesson we learn comes from all these beautiful experiences. Some of them come from, oh, I didn't like what I did. I didn't like how I was dysregulated emotionally there and did not handle myself well. So, we're here to learn. We're here to learn from everything, and all experiences are love. So
So
I just thought I would share that.
would you say, and thank you for that, would you say that that was more or could have been a necessary release of that energy as well?
Yes. So yes, it's letting go of what no longer serves, and we have to look at it. We have to look at our shadows to see what no longer serves us. So yeah, that's part of it too. So the first step is just recognizing it and then being willing to face it, which is hard to do and uncomfortable. But this particular thing that I felt guided to do really helped me, because that's part of how we might cause dis-ease in our bodies and illness as well, by holding on to these types of energies.
Mhm.
So just, kind of like, I'm going to do a replay. This is what I would have done, and then imagine myself handling it better. Because when you're emotionally charged like that, you're not reasonably thinking. And I was not reasonably thinking. And so I went back and I said, okay, if I had been reasonable in that situation, this is what I would have done. And then I imagined myself doing it. So it was a great exercise for me. And I'm going to be using that in the future if I should find that I've done something that I'm not happy with. Because really, it's us that we have to answer to. It's ourself that we have to answer to. So, with that sharing, I thought that I would invite us to all take a few breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And this time, after you breathe in, if you'd like to hold your breath for a little, and gently release that breath. And one more time, focusing on your heart. And we're going to do a little bit of a visualization. You probably have done something like this before, where you are imagining your lower chakras, your root, um, coming down, connecting down with Mother Earth, and really feel what it might feel like to blend your energy and your intention with hers, with her, with her energy. And allow your energy, your root energy, to 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 go into Mother Earth, and bring it back up and go back down, or stay down in that vibration, and then bring that energy into your heart. Her energy and yours are in your heart. And also the energy of the cosmos. This can be thinking as your cosmic galactic family, the beings that are connected to the stars, our sun, the moon, and bring that energy, allow that energy as a white healing light to come in and meet that earth energy in your heart. So you're creating a space, a sacred space in your heart for healing light, white light energy, Mother Earth, Sun, moon, stars. And really just take a moment in your heart space with that. And thanking Mother Earth or your galactic family for the love that they have for you and sharing your love with them. There is a lot of need at this time for this type of peaceful energy. There is a lot of need at this time for a willingness to share loving energy on a regular basis around Earth to humankind, a loving kindness energy. And this can be done by coming in, finding a way to come into your heart space, similar to what we have done just now, and imagining one method is to first send love to yourself. I love myself. However you're imagining yourself, some people, their belief is that they are a light being. I love myself and I love this body that I carry, and I love my emotions and my mental body, and I love myself. And then sending that same love to those in your house, in your city, and you can keep expanding however far you would like to expand your love. And wherever you feel, whatever first, if you're thinking of a location, whatever first comes to mind is connected to you. And that could be connected to you through your ancestors, because there is a great gathering at this time with our ancestors. And so you may come to mind, even if you are unaware of any connection you have to that place, if you feel drawn, then you with your ancestors can be working together to bring healing within your family or to that land. And so we'll take a moment now and send love to somewhere, loving kindness to somewhere around our globe, around our earth, that is meaningful to you. And you can expand this still further. Maybe you feel a connection to your galactic family, to some of our neighboring family in other galaxies nearby. And sending love simply to all beings in the universe. And so this is a practice that you can do to amplify the loving energy that is so needed and beneficial to all that is going on at this time. And I'd like us all, if we could tone together. I don't know how this is going to sound exactly, but if we could all tone together. Just give me a moment and I'm going to see who else. There was someone with me during all of that, helping me to express all of that. And I want to take a minute just to see if somebody else is. Hey, ako o te ene e mokoya sututi. Ayana ayako mana ayatu uma. Ine he moko asits. Iane he mokoya tututu yana ya sukoya na. E ene e meme koya. Ako asane he mamati. Ene ako ya tu. Io. Greetings, greetings, dear ones. We are so pleased to be among you, and we thank you for the light that you are emanating at this time, for we are basking in your brightness, and we are so grateful for your willingness and the mission and purposes that you are taking upon yourself to bring about so much benefit for humankind at this time, for this is a transitional time. And what we would like to speak about on a very simple level is to remind you of the choice that you have to make for the known as the Hopi prophecy. And this is not something that this channel has authority to speak about, but only to remind you that you have a choice to make in what heart you are developing within yourself. Where is your heart? Where does it lead you? What are you bringing to yourself in this exploration, this incarnation of this time that you are in? And this is all we will say on it through this channel, for again, this is not an authority of this channel. We are only to remind you of that simple choice that you are at this time is such an important thing to be aware of. And may you all be blessed in this choice to make the choice for your highest good that you have wanted and designed for yourself, and may you live that highest good for the benefit of all, yourself and all, yourself and all. And this is our simple message, and we thank you for listening to this message and considering it in your heart. Blessings, dear ones. We invite you to receive an energy Tuaya koya nehe mo koya supataya no. Ea nehe mokoya tu me me ke asu. Ea nehe atu moko wa nehe moko. There are many adjustments happening around the world at this time, and some of them are still in the uh, hidden, behind the scenes, you might say. And these are happening at the time that they should, and they are, we will say, allowing for the advancement of loving energy to come into the leadership in many, many places. And so it is an important time. This is another reason why it is important for you to be in a mind state of love at least some of the time. Ha ha. As much as you can, we will say. And we love you. We want you to know this. And we are rooting for you. We want you to win. So know this, that things are coming about, and we would encourage you to keep this in mind as you are sending loving energy, that the obstacles that were there before will no longer prevent, will no longer be something of that draws attention. And this, we want you to know that all of these things are happening, and there is no need to concern yourselves that they are happening, for they are, but this is also in alignment with your heart intention. In this year, there is a time of motivation and action. There is a time of action, and you may feel this in your personal life, of something that is important to your mission and purpose in life, that you will find that you have ways and means to accomplish what you need to do, and you will feel inspired and excited and passionate about these things, and this is something for you to look forward to. So it is time at this time for you to consider, what do I want? And you can ask yourself, what do I want? Because you are speaking to all of you. You are speaking to the light that you are speaking through your oversoul, and you are speaking to your etheric body, your emotional body, and your mental body. What do I want? What do I want? And you may not need to answer that. You can just simply ask, what do I want? And then allow it to unfold, because it will come to you, and before you know it, you will realize that you understand with more clarity your purpose and mission. So first, you are working with the energy of establishing what you want, and then you are working with the energy of springing forward into action in with inspiration and a passion and excitement for what you are doing. Some of you may already be doing this, and if there is anyone who is having a question about this, this is something for you. The energy of the sun is bringing much of this movement, strong strength, energy into your mission and purpose. And you are literally being, we will jokingly say, bombarded with this energy. And it is a good thing. And it is for you. And it is a gift for you in love. Te amo koia tutu. Ia te te a ko a sonehema. Waia koia nehe atua popo koia na. E te amo ko. We tu. You may feel prompted to go outside at night and look up at the stars and to look at the moon, and you will receive this energy on a softer plane as you will. If this is something you feel guided to do, this is what is happening for you. And in other times, you may feel a more intense energy through our sun. Oya ko e ano e uea ko ane activate your voices to speak these loving energies to those in ways you feel guided, so that you can help others to feel, to maybe for the first time, these types of energies through your words, for words are powerful, and sharing this through your voice, an activated voice, because your heart is activated and it accompanies your voice and brings about these energies. And others may not understand, but they know that they like what you are saying and they like how your voice resonates for them. And this is a very powerful ability that you have. So you can ask your guides to help you to strengthen this chakra in you, so that you can have a connection with your heart and voice, and to be a voice like a trumpet, like a sounding for others to hear the messages that resonate with love, loving kindness. ako, tue ako, atu te, hai hu kayana, he aso me, hu atu ako, atu ako, atu. We invite you to place your hands on your heart. We will take a moment of silence, about a minute or so, for you to process and allow this energy. And during this time, you can focus on your heart, you can focus on your breath, you can focus on gratitude. There is only a right way for you. We honor you, we love you. You are part of us, we are part of you in the great one energy. May you be blessed in all you do. I thought there would be questions, but no. I'm sorry. There were no questions. Um, no. I guess that's not what was going to happen tonight.
No reason to be sorry. That was fantastic. I don't know how many different beings that you had coming in, but you've never performed like that before. I mean, there were at least four different indigenous beings which came in and chanted through you as well as the singing. I,
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if you were aware of a lot of that because it was very deep.
it was very I do remember some of it being very and I was pretty aware of everything. Some some of it I was like, "Oh, we're saying that, oh, this is happening." But I was really aware of what was happening, but I wasn't expecting, you know, I thought I was gonna end up playing a recording of a message that came through a few nights ago. So
You can do
I
that
wasn't
too.
expecting.
If you have the impulse, hey, we're all ears and all hearts. Yeah, I got goosebumps during part of that. It was a palpable energy which came to me at another part as well.
Yeah,
Heidi,
yes.
I, I just wanted to let you know that that was oh, so heartfelt, so beautiful, so amazing, really. Um, you could just feel it. And, you know, even how you opened with, just your own words and that really helped me a lot. But you said in the very beginning, I even wrote it down. Um, and just everything that came through tonight was just so beautiful. I hope you do play the recording. I would love to hear more. Um, but thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to let you know what a gift you are to this community.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. I'm happy. The recording goes into a little more depth about because I had done it right after that experience of learning to, you know, improve myself. So that it goes a little bit deeper into that. But
Was this tied in with the Pueblo visit?
no, this was so there was I went to what's it called?
In
Why is it
Peru?
leaving me right now? I okay, so I went to there was a lot of different choices of presenters and there was one um sh- that when she was presenting, two female beings came and said, "Can we work with you?" And I said, "Yes." And when she was singing, um it sounded like first it sounded like Ireland, and I was processing a lot. It's kind I get kind of intense, you know. It seems. And I was processing a lot and something would come I if you emotions process very quickly, especially if you don't know the story attached to them. So when I'm learning that when ancestral healing comes through, because you don't know the story, the emotion processes quickly. So I would just process and tears are streaming, and then I would be, as soon as I inhale, it was gone. So in a matter of, maybe 15 seconds, all this. And I do have ancestry in Ireland. And then the next thing that she did, so she was creating this container, for me to have that healing or whatever in. And because I still don't know what was exactly happening, but I also felt the energy of Norway. And the same thing happened at one point. It was like there is much to release here, and there was a big release with tears streaming and all of that. But then immediately when I breathed back in, it was over. So it had been processed. So, and those are two places that I know are in my ancestry. Um, so I'm wondering if the two feminine um, beings that I heard are two of my ancestors. You know, can we work with you? And because when we heal, we're healing them as well, because we're in the physical form and they are not right now. So yeah, that's my understanding and my belief. But yeah, thank you for doing that with me and toning with me and everything.
Yvonne?
Uh, I noticed when you were chanting, singing, whatever it was, I heard several times the words Haya. Now, in Native American, which I don't think you were necessarily channeling a Native American, but in Native American, that represents a connection to the earth, right? And a respect for the Earth Mother. So I just thought that was really fascinating with what you were talking about for those words to come out a couple of times. So I just wanted to mention that to you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. That I don't know what I know sometimes when I'm doing that, like thoughts will come in as to like the general meaning of what's being said. Um, so it's nice to have that perspective of of the of the what did you say? Haya?
Haya.
Haya. Yeah. So I know sometimes I feel like I hear a word like that I've heard before, some um but I know it's all energetic and
Yeah, and Ray
yeah.
was saying who knew how many were coming through you. So it's possible, although I wouldn't say right off the bat, oh, she's channeling, a Native American, but you had a lot of different energies coming through. So could be
Yeah,
there.
yeah, one of them mentioned the Hopi prophecies
Oh, yeah. See, there you go.
Yeah.
and that you weren't authorized to speak for them, but you were authorized to remind us of that energy and that message.
Yeah, and I remember that one very clearly, and that one felt it was only like, remember, you have a choice to make. There's so I know there's so much more to that prophecy that I don't know, and again, I know I don't have authority, and I don't want to offend anyone either. So I'm glad that it came through that way, because I was, as soon as that thought came up, I was like, I don't want to talk about that. you know so
Yeah, that was some powerful stuff. I mean, because you had, done some of the light language sorts before, but not like that. And there were so many different types. I just thought it was, and plus all of your hands looked like you were trying to get rid of 15 flies at the same time. You were all over, getting the energy flowing. It was fabulous. I mean, I was transformed just watching, and then, you were doing all of this stuff. It was just, I haven't seen you that masterful before. I mean, you've always impressed me, but yeah, that was quite amazing.
well, thank you. Thank you. I don't think it's I what I think is it's all of us working together. It's and there's been a lot of that, and I feel like that is um it's kind of like a healing sound, a healing of emotional sadness sound. That's, or it's connected to emotion. That's how it feels to me when it's happening. So I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have to know on this level because we definitely got it on another level.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone else does light language, but sometimes when I am sad about something I have no control over, or like I feel like I don't have control over a situation or something and I'm upset about it or whatever, um, I find that speaking to myself in light language helps me through that, even though I don't, you know what I mean? It helps me feel better after it. And sometimes, oh, and like sometimes it'll come through and I feel like I just have like a resolution without knowing what it is, you know? It's like a part of me that knows, and everything's okay, Heidi. Everything's fine, you know. So, yeah.
And
So I thought I would mention that in case someone wants to speak light language for themselves, you know.
speaking of light language, Wendy, Dave,
Yeah.
come on now, you raised my
Oh,
hand.
yeah, that's really funny. Yes, I was definitely in tune with all of that. And I couldn't help just wanting to speak light language back. And there were so many messages I got through all of that transmission as well. Um, I haven't been participating a lot in public lately for a lot of different reasons, but with speaking light language, etc. And so anyway, it was yes, it was quite. I was quite moved by that and touched by that, and I certainly was in tune with a lot of those entities and energies, and it felt very familiar. And so, yeah, tokosemi sha hono ki ablevsmia sha ko ontoyo korjina ki lesa parvisana elia shana kolianda basete ijara elesa makaya antoro ashan kilia saparoso ushine ki la kataya patoke. So yes, I would absolutely
Hmm. Right here.
love to do that. Yes, it's been a little while, so I think I feel the need to release a lot of my own stuff. I've been going through a lot of my own things lately, for quite some time. So I've been releasing a lot of things, and yes, I also use it for self healing, self soothing. Sometimes when I'm feeling upset, those things come out. Um, all kinds of sounds and languages come out of me as well as Dave most of the day. So it's quite common for us. It's pretty common around our house actually. Um, so yes, thank you for sharing that. And it gives me the excitement to come back here in this group and share my own light languages as well. So
I love that. I love that it's all day.
yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that I always wonder, like for other people, is it like this for other people too? That just kind of like sort of just speak it all the time, and it's part of your life. And I don't know. I don't know if we are uncommon that way, perhaps. But yeah, it's just it's literally like a part of our life,
Yeah,
daily
I,
life.
I mean, for me, because whenever I first moved into this house, I got depressed, and I was spending so much time alone that I just babbled just to have another voice echoing off of the walls. That was kind of like a way of, surviving what I had. And it, looking back, that I know that that was just light language coming through because there have been lots of times in my life where I just had these phrases pop up and people would say, "What'd you say?" And I'd be like, "I don't know, it just came out."
That's kind of how it happens.
Yeah, but I think a lot of us, though, rather than babbling nonsense and having people look at us and having to explain it, they just stuff it. And now I think that the urges are becoming stronger, and people like you are being leading examples, you and Dave, and now Heidi too. And
Yeah.
pretty soon I think that that's closer to the language of telepathy because it
Oh yeah.
communicates on a non-physical level. It's just an energetic representation that's vocalized. And we'll be moving towards just the energetic message which comes in. So,
And I used to do weekly events for with all light language and channeling, related types of things. And I've often considered doing it again recently, but I've just, you know what, a lot of it is because we overthink things like, oh my God, there's already so many hangouts and who's gonna, we can't possibly add another one to the week and this and that, and why would I do that? And, so there's all, we let ourselves talk ourselves out of things pretty easily.
yep, go back to the heart, right? Leave your mind out of it.
You know, at this event I was at, during one of the presentations, I look over to my right and there's this older man, had to be at least in his 70s. He's sitting on the floor and his eyes are closed and he's doing the same thing I do with his hands.
Yep,
And
I do
he's
that too.
yeah, and he's, it's just I think it's somatic channeling. So there's, with the, we're using our voice, we're using the somatic channeling, and then also um uh speaking words or speaking light language. So and I looked over and I'm like, I think more people are doing that. I think more, it's just naturally happening. So
Cool.
it's exciting. It's exciting to see other people doing the same thing you do, because it helps to normalize it and it helps to feel, because you can, well, gee, am I crazy? Because I don't know what this is, you know?
Right.
So seeing other people doing it, it's very comforting.
And I always wonder what it looks like outside of the physical, because that's got to be some beautiful dancing energy. Because if it's that melodious and, it's that comforting and fluid in the physical, it's got to be something extra special outside of it. And
Yeah.
Wendy and Dave, you can put your hand down now.
Oh,
Not that you have to.
I
Is
wasn't.
your arm
I
getting
wasn't.
tired?
I wasn't paying attention. Okay.
Yes, I know.
Just go ahead, Yvonne, if you got something to say or your hand's tired.
No, I have something to say. I think that, well, how do I say this? Okay, while you were channeling, Argus started to talk to me. Now, y'all may not remember me mentioning him before, but he hasn't talked to me or come through or said anything in ages and ages. So I found that really fascinating. And I'm curious to see if when I channel next week, if he comes through. Uh, maybe, but I think there was the amount of energy that you were putting out reached him somehow, right? And he's like, okay, whatever it was that he said, which I can't even remember right now, but I just remember him saying, I am Argus. And I was like, what? Where did you come from? So I think I don't know, that really struck me. I've never done light language myself, but that just I don't know. I don't know what to say. It just really hit me that why would Argus come to me while you were doing this channeling and when I haven't heard from him in probably 2 years or more, right? And then boom, there he is. So it's got to be an energetic thing that you were
Oh,
pulling
totally.
so much energy and it reached him. So I just wanted to
That's
mention
what
that.
light language. That's what light language does. It really does help other people. It activates people to connect to all kinds of other parts of their consciousness. It's
Oh,
very, it's a very, very interesting thing that I've witnessed it for a long time. It's
well, I've
very,
heard
very,
light language just in short videos that people have posted, 30 seconds to a minute of somebody doing light language, but I never heard it live, you know,
well,
and
this,
not to that high
I've
an
done it
energy.
live for years, years and years, and I've had done events. I have over 2,000 videos filled with light language and people talking it and events just like this with other people and people all over the world. It is absolutely a
Wow.
phenomenon to me.
Very
And
powerful for sure.
I, it's been, I started it in 2015. It's been 11 years and I'm still astounded.
Wow.
Yeah, the
I am. I'm
when it
astounded by
first
my own
started,
connection.
oh,
Go ahead, Heidi. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, when it first started, it was so much faster than what I do on my own. And I was like, why is this going so fast?
Hmm.
And maybe that had something to do with, with how much energy needed to come through. And it's when the voice, something about the throat chakra, that there was a lot of energy coming through there too. So
Well, when I first started channeling Eve 20 something years ago, whenever it was, she was so fast when she talked. It was
mm,
like, what are you from New York City or something? It was just, blah, 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 you know. And later she told me she had to do that because she had to push to get through me because of my desire to block, right? I mean, it was
mm,
something I wasn't used to, the vocal parts of it. So she said that's why she's not that fast anymore, but she was. So maybe I don't know if it relates to that or not, but that could be one
yeah.
possibility of why it's so fast and they have to push to get it through.
It's sort of how it feels kind of sometimes. It's that there's so much information and energy
Oh yeah.
that, and you don't, and the best part is your brain is not involved at all. You
Yeah,
are,
I
it's
couldn't
Yeah,
you
yeah.
keep up with
are
it.
not,
So, because before that,
right.
I was having like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if anyone's, they're going to abandon me and I'm just going to be sitting here like this, you know? So I was thinking that. And so, of course, so that would then make sense of why it came in so quickly. It's like, oh, we got to get past her thinking mind,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
monkey mind. Yeah.
And my throat chakra's been really, let me just say, you know how the emotions, when you have very strong emotions and you feel like you're going to cry or you've got all this, where does it feel it's stuck? It's stuck in your throat. And that's where I feel, and this even tonight has been very instrumental for me. Very. I'm going through
Cool.
some very deep just mourning and healing, and it's been extremely challenging for me lately. And so I feel like somehow the dam is opening up for me again. So I kind of feel like it's time for me to let all this out. And sometimes I'm always afraid too, you know, what are people going to think? Sitting and listen to this for, 20, 30 minutes, and like, but then again, I've been doing it so long. It's like, I don't care what they think, but there's something stuck in there that says, oh, I'm afraid to let me out.
We're going to think we need to get you on our schedule more often. That's what we're.
Age
Well,
has helped me a great deal with that. Just getting older, saying, "Psh, I
maybe
could
that's what's
care
happening
less."
too.
Yeah.
That's probably what's happening to me as well.
I used to tell people that old people talk so fast because they want to make sure they get it all out in case that's their last breath.
Oh.
That could be right.
We have to get this
Sziasztok,
channeling through in case it's Heidi's last breath.
Funny.
No, I'm
Tokoš
sure
ti
you
bija
will.
sa pare vis mašo, koji leto on the best pare, tomo kotia. Hey, I don't know where the stuff comes from. Ja, koto visi bere so kujak.
And we don't need to know. We just need to know how it feels. We don't
It
even
feels
really need to
amazing.
know that. We just have to experience it,
I
you know.
just wanted to mention that when you're in the channeling state as the channeler, and I know Wendy has been sometimes concerned about this, when you're channeling English, words, sometimes the thing coming through wants to talk about the channel.
Yeah,
And
I'm not always
you
excited about
know
that.
and especially if you're going through something and you don't really want the world to know about it. Sometimes when you're channeling, they might come through and say the channel has been going through this, and we're like, no, I don't. But you have to. You can't close your mind to that, and you can't because you're channeling. So sometimes I think there's a fear that that might happen, and so you're not so excited about doing the channeling.
But I also know that if something like that comes out, that I've already kind of pre-agreed to go ahead and let the cat out of the bag, whatever that might be.
Yeah, I've been made fun of a couple times and outed once about cheating on my detox in a personal session. Somebody said, how can you what can Ray do to help quit cheating on your detox. Like, oh my gosh, that's like wow. And whenever Milo was here, Plink Plink, every time that he channeled Plink Plink, he would come through and he would tell us an embarrassing story about Milo. And it was pointed and had a lesson. But
Well, I
I've
had to
never did.
swallow my pride last week, and part of what you were talking about hit home to me on that, uh, because I have issues with patience. I have my whole life, and I keep wanting it to get better, but I'm not particularly patient, right? And I had a big argument with the lady that drives me like to the doctor and the grocery store over our cats because I don't approve of the way she treats her cat, right? And so we had a big argument, and it was my fault. It really was because I baited her, just I was in a foul mood. And everyone was telling me, she sent me an email and said, "Don't you ever contact me again?" And so everyone was telling me, "You have to apologize to her." And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to." My pride was getting in the way, and I was right, and blah, blah, blah. So about 5 days went by, and every time I thought about it or someone talked to me, it's like, you need to swallow your pride and apologize to her. So I finally did. It was hard. And all I did was I sent her a text message and said, "I shouldn't have been so abrupt with you." Within like 3 seconds, she's on the phone. "Oh, hi, how are you doing?" I mean, no, she could easily have said, "Well, screw you," but she didn't. And so that's been resolved. But part of your channeling really hit me about that, that looking at yourself is not always very easy, and taking a step to improve it or to reconcile it, like the story you were telling, right? That so that was very apropos for me tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome. I benefited from that experience so much. And because
likewise.
you're sitting there before resolution, you're sitting there and you could have shame and guilt, and
Oh yeah,
none of that is good for your health.
right.
Yeah. So I'll see if I can find the video. I think it was a couple nights ago, and it goes deeper into that. It also had some insight on how we are we're this universe within, and we're also this universe without, and like we are the center point of this infinity, you know, within and without. And I thought, wow, that's an interest,
Cool.
yeah. So
I mean, or is that something we can share on the High Vibe page or
yeah, I'm gonna watch it again, and I don't ever watch myself, so I don't know what I look like when I'm flailing all
fabulous,
flies
fabulous.
batting flies everywhere, and I'm sure my hair disappears for a minute or half my
Well,
face with the
I mean, you
camera.
were really leaning into the camera at some
Was
points.
I? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I thought you were going
And
to take a
this,
bite. Yeah.
In what? In my chin?
your head,
You were, it was part of pulling the energy in because
yeah.
you were
Oh.
very much aligned with your chakras and pulling it in and waving energy in.
Hmm. Yeah, and I wonder what that is. Because I
Fabulous.
do, yeah, and I don't, because sometimes I feel like energy's coming out through, like, especially my heart chakra. I'm getting a ringing right now. Oh, I wanted to mention this dream that I had. All I remember was there was a male being talking to me, And he said, and that's what consciousness is. And I knew I had just learned what consciousness was. And then I woke up and I have no idea what consciousness is. But in my dream, I understood consciousness perfectly from that lesson. I thought that was so funny. It's like, why can't we bring that out into, it
That's
was
what
such a
Dave
great dream.
Dave just hollered out. He's like, and because I was just going to say the same thing. He's like, hey, I just had a dream that the same thing happened to me
About
Are you
consciousness.
about
serious?
about consciousness. Yes,
I,
Really?
rem- I remember.
No.
you remember
I remember. Yeah.
what? You remember what they said?
Yeah. About all being all that is, and at the same time being the part of all it is that's you,
Mm-hmm.
but still being all that is everything, and also just a single point. At the same time, all that is a single point and nothing. And all of that at the same time. And because you're all that is as a single point, you could also connect to any part of all that is. Because it's really just a single point. But that single point can also be anywhere and everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. And you could connect to all of those things. And it's really just where you want to focus your attention. You have access to all of those things. And then I was being shown about just how our reality is, and they gave me the example of close your eyes and imagine yourself in a room, and then imagine yourself standing next to a table and touching the table, and then I got another thing which happened to be imagine there was a phone sitting on the table like an old style phone, and it rings and you pick it up and you answer it. That's your reality. You've just created a reality. That's the dream. That's what we're doing now. And that's how it all works. Just being able to imagine those things, the reality we're dreaming now is just that simple. And we're just doing, because we're so infinite, we're also imagining an infinite number of other realities at the same time and just moving between them wherever we want to focus our attention. And we could communicate between all of those realities, and we could communicate not only to all of our own versions of ourselves, but because all that is contains all that is, other fragments of all that is, which are other consciousnesses, we could also connect with those and share experiences and create experiences. Wendy's looking at me like almost
No,
like I'm crazy.
well,
Not at all.
I'm also thinking, okay, so you did the homework after the lesson, and I just was like, great, now I know what consciousness is, but I didn't take any of it with me.
And I'm laughing because this is like our common conversation over coffee. I'm just like, yeah, we're normal people.
So,
Yeah.
so the
So
path
someone
of
was
which
teaching you, Dave,
Yes.
someone was teaching you. Do you feel like
yeah,
it was a male or female? I don't know if it matters.
I think it was a Sasani collective.
Okay.
People excited to whenever I'm thinking about things like consciousness and the mechanics of it, it always seems to be the Sasani that wanna
That do the splaining.
that wanna hop in on the conversation.
And a lot of what you were saying about being that center it was reminding me of what came through in the channeling about us being the center point between all that is without and all that is within, that infinite universe within and the infinite universe without.
The
It
fractals. Hmm.
sounds, it sounds almost the same. So I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that.
It's almost like I'm getting this extraterrestrial cheering session going, oh my God, yes, they're finally getting it.
Well, and because we're really just making up the difference between the inside and the outside. for the purposes of the experience.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
there is no real separation, there is no difference. We're all of
Yes.
that at the same time.
So we have to make up separation in order to have any experience at all in this way. So it's kind of funny. And then once you start like letting this stuff integrate, it's almost all the questions that you may have in your own daily life seem to sort of be already answered. I know it's kind of odd how it works.
Yeah, there's a balance point in there too, and I think that's where the flow comes in because, that's how we can allow the maximum amount of energies from our higher realm into. I don't know if it's more we're allowing them more into our physical experience or we're just moving our physical experience more into the non-physical.
Mm.
It could be both.
You're changing your focus.
Hmm.
Yes.
It's the same
And
thing
it's
you
funny
do when,
because
yeah,
like
when
the
you
meditation.
channel, you got to go one way or the other, your focus changes. I know this is kind of a question, I guess, for all the channelers, but I know when I channel, it comes from upper right, right? It comes from that direction. I don't know if other people have a place where they go or reach that's directional, or if they
Yeah.
feel it coming in from a specific place. But I know it doesn't matter who or what I'm channeling, or even what I'm aware of. Like if I'm aware of energies in the room or whatever, that's always for me, where it comes from.
Interesting.
Oh yes,
Because
I would agree.
Yeah.
I mean, like the hybrid children seem to come from within me. The future Pleiadians kind of come from, I would almost want to say, behind me. And the
Interesting.
beings of light just surround me. But it's interesting.
Yeah.
And
I do. I resonate with that too. I resonate with that too, Ray. Some of my it feels that way. Some of them are just they feel like they're within me. Some feel like they're all around me. Some feel like they're coming from one particular direction, like you said, Yvonne, like out of my head, but from one direction. And some of them feel like they come from a different direction from my head. And it's interesting about the hand signals too. Um, it's kind of like sometimes I feel the energy like I can hold it with my hand. If I stretch my arm out, it's like I can touch it. It's kind of a if you ever watch Daniel Scranton channel,
mhm.
he does a lot of hand movements and toning before he begins channeling, and it's kind of sometimes feels like that too, where it's I can reach out in a particular direction, and it's like that's how, and it's kind of I don't really it's hard to explain actually, but it's like I can like it's like right now I'm feeling like I'm reaching out and touching like the Arcturians. It's difficult to explain.
Maybe I should try reaching a different direction just to see if anything different comes in. If I think, oh, I think I'll reach to the upper left or the back or whatever. But I will say that as far as the hand things are concerned, and I don't think Eve does much of that, but I've seen so many different channelers and they do different things. The first time I saw Esther Hicks, who, channels Abraham,
Yeah.
I was struck by she was perfectly still except her fingers kept doing this, doing this, doing this. And I thought this is excess energy, right? And she's trying to get rid of it. And then, excuse me, there's a guy in California. He does this the whole time he's channeling. I don't know what it is he's doing with the energy, but uh, the whole time he's channeling, his hands are doing this, his arms and hands. And then I've seen some who don't seem to move at all, and others who do a lot, like what you were doing tonight. So I think that's very individual, just not.
My hands do a lot of weird things while I'm speaking light language. A lot.
That's interesting.
Completely uncontrolled.
Huh. I would like to apologize for eating right now, but my blood sugar's below 60. It's like 55, and I'm trying to get it
Well,
up.
Dave and I were eating earlier. That's why we were off camera too, because I don't want to be a distraction in the background, having people
Whatever's
watching
best
us
for
eat.
you. And Heidi, you had something
You
to add
know.
on that?
Oh, just you were talking about coming from a direction. So there was one, I think it was one of the very strong ones, and I just kind of felt them like you were saying, Wendy, sometimes from within. That one was very much from within, but I've never really focused on um which direction other than sometimes when I'm meditating my head just turns and it's usually to the left, and
Interesting.
sometimes it's here and sometimes it's here. And there's been one time recently when it was very tall here, and so trying to remember what's going. Oh, so they're leading a visualization meditation and active some kind of activation or something, and I'll be sitting there and it's almost like, and I can feel tickles. Sometimes I can feel tickles or like tickles in my on my leg, and it's almost like like they are working on me or something, or activating or healing or whatever. But outside of myself, that's usually when, not when I'm necessarily channeling, but when someone else is giving has opened a space and maybe beings are approaching me sometimes. I feel like maybe that might be what that is.
Well, I think it might be that other beings want to experience what that's like from within you.
Maybe.
Because because that is a rare experience to have people who are open and willing enough and vibrate high enough to handle that energy. Because then they get all of these different perspectives of this one energetic representation. And welcome everyone again to another fun and exciting session of High Vibe Channeling Session. This is February 26, 2026. And the first session is going to be me, Ray Heitman. The Sasquatch had connected with me, and they didn't call me on the phone, but they had connected with me to say that they had a message to give. And who am I to turn down such lovely beings? And if they want to talk, I'll be honored to have them come through, and we'll see what they have to say. And we are honored by your presence and honored by this one for acknowledging ours and giving us the chance to utilize his form to speak to you and to the greater audience who may come upon this after we have done our part in providing you with the information which we have chosen to provide you because we feel the time is right and it is necessary. And this may not be a surprise for many of you, but our message for you relates to all of you and many on your planet, millions in fact, around the world, wish to have visits by the visitors from the skies, the star beings, the extraterrestrials. They see them in their dreams. They hear them come through channeling. And they wonder why they are not in contact yet. Why are they waiting? And it is not so much that humanity is not ready, although that is true in a grander sense. And many of you as individuals are ready, and some have already had their individual personal contact events, those glorious encounters with beings of love, giving love to those we will not say deserving, for you are all deserving, but those who are equipped to handle it and not be afraid and not succumb to those energies. But the main reason why that has not happened on your planet yet is the same reason why we are not among you and have not been for many centuries. It is because of the way you treat yourselves as a race. It is because of the way you treat your planet. If you cannot get along with this Earth Mother who supports you, if you cannot get along with the creatures who are occupying it, who are here as part of an overall design system which was engineered and functioned to provide for all, if you cannot get along with your own kind, even your own neighbors or your own family members, how can you expect other beings to expect to receive favorable and honorable and respectful behaviors from you? We are not coming down upon you. We are merely expressing that is our view and the view of those beings who love you from afar, who observe you and desire to come down amongst you and stand shoulder to shoulder to help fix Mother Earth, to help you grow into the new species you are destined to become. But we do ask of you as individuals to think about that or upon that when you interact with others through your day, when you interact with animals, insects, the elementals, seen or unseen, that you do your best to emulate not only how we approach all life, but how you wish to be an example for those youngers, those individuals who you have brought forth and who they will continue to have offspring, so that they may get to the point where you can all stand shoulder to shoulder in respect, honoring all life, so none suffer, so all have the chance of being the best beings they can be, of breathing in the symphony of the earth, of feeling the energies of her within your veins, of playfully engaging in peace and harmony, all of the beings who wish to play, human and otherwise. That includes the wind, the wee folk, the fire, water, rock people. There are many, many beings who walk amongst you who would be more open if you, as a race, were more open. Many of you may have wondered how the indigenous, for centuries, would encounter large animals, bears, big cats, buffalo, and not suffered. And we are not saying that none did. There are fools and have always been fools amongst humans. Sometimes pride gets in the way. Sometimes they do not have their mind on their moment and are distracted. But those who more have their wits about them would merely greet those beings and honor them. Now, there are ill tempers in many of the large animals as well, for they have their own personalities and their own ways. But in listening and responding with your hearts and using the senses and intuition and the guidance of the spirits, they could avoid those types of incidents, especially if they listened to the elders who were in touch with their ancients and communed with them, not only in their ceremonies, but in their sleep states. And we are thankful that this is review for all of you. But we wish to bring that forth to remind you, as you do go throughout your day, to hold that respect, to watch your tone of voice, to reach out and help when your heart calls, and to not be afraid to play when the moment hits you. That is an important part of enjoyment. All of the young animals, including humans, play, play, play. It is delightful. It brings joy to all hearts which have not been hardened by things which they keep inside them. You can do that as well. You can be that example and let that little one have more say in how you go throughout your day. And although this is a short message, we do thank you for allowing us to bring it to you and through your devices. And if you have questions for us, we are here for you in your service. Thank you.
Greetings to you. I'm very happy you are here with us. I wanted to ask, sometimes I walk out in our society and I wear t-shirts with Sasquatch on them. I see different reactions and I see some people make a kind of a connection. When this happens, do you also feel it in some way?
We are observing where we feel we need to observe. We no longer expose ourselves in the places where nature is not to a large degree. We do not need to. We have seen those places. They are devoid in some ways of nature energies, but still carry the natures of the earth, and they carry the love of the environment within individuals who tread there. But that is an individual experience, and we appreciate you wearing the garments which will bring that awareness to others. Now, for some, they consider it a joke. They consider us fictional beings, cartoonish. And we know that they are, we shall say, babes in the woods, as they do not know better. They have not learned because they have not been taught. They have not experienced. It is not a wonder that those who go among the wood, who experience its depths, its wonders, its energies, and feel that kinship with it, are the ones who are drawn to us. And when we see that and look into their hearts, we can choose to provide them with clues to our being among them. And we wish to teach more, and we wish to be among you, but we will wait as we have waited. But it will not be so long in our time. It will be decades in your time. 30 or 40 of your years, I am told. Perhaps longer. It depends on how fast your heart grows. But it will happen. And thank you for being one of the forerunners who hold that respect, not only for our kind, but for all kinds of life on your planet. We appreciate you being you and being in connection with more than you, which makes you part of the earth and not so much an individual.
I thank you for your answer, and I am honored to have this connection.
It is ours, for there are too few like you on this planet. It is always a pleasure to meet you, your type. Thank you.
Go ahead, Yvonne.
Thank you. I actually have two questions, and let me go with the simpler one first, I guess, and that is, uh, unless I misunderstood you, you were saying that you've not been in physical form on Earth for a long, long time, but there have been lots and lots of reports of people who have um, heard heard the Sasquatch, seen the Sasquatch, or believe that they're moving from the earth through portals to wherever it is you are. So I'm curious about that, whether those reports are just, like made up stuff, or what exactly is that about?
We were referring to the times when we could walk openly amongst the humankind.
Oh, I see.
That changed abruptly with the white man coming into this land. For they did not respect, nor did they understand, nor did they try to understand the energies nor the cultures of the beings who worshiped alongside us, who took care of Mother Earth with us. There are many of our kind who have befriended your kind. There are many more who playfully interact with them. And there are no sightings, no sounds which are not joyous for us in connecting with those of your kind who have been honored in that way. And many of your kind honor us with gifts and their love of the forest. And if this one had not taken and proven himself by honoring our structures and honoring the wood which he is keeper of, we may not have chosen him to speak through.
I see. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, the second question I have, I'm not sure if you're exactly the one to ask, but you were talking about how so many of what we call aliens, right, contact us if we're respectful, etc. Now, I have had a few encounters with the Greys, and my encounters have always been very peaceful, and I've never had any issues or problems. But I hear story after story after story of not just the Greys, but other aliens, but especially the Greys, that people have had just the most awful experiences. And I'm curious about that. I don't understand how, one person says, "Oh, they tortured me and they did this and they did that." And yet I have not, in all the years that they've been in contact with me, I've not had anything like that. At least I don't remember anything like that. So I'm kind of curious about that, if you can speak to that.
We can say that humans who use their heart do not say those things. And many of those contacts occur in the dream state and get interpreted by the physical mind and then embellished for greater effect, when in fact they diminish themselves by deliberately misleading others. And say, for instance, a child is told by his parents or others in his locality that they are all evil, and he believes that, and he encounters one in his dreams. He is more likely to say that he encountered an evil being than to say he encountered an honorable being. And that will frame his expression. And those examples from childhood often persist through your adult natures. And those stories, the reactions that they get, cause more people to tell them because they appreciate that attention. They wish to be that focus. And we are not saying that the Greys did not alarm or frighten many individuals, and they are time travelers. But whether you know it or not, they no longer exist in that form for the most part, for they have evolved.
Interesting.
Now, we are not saying that there are not exceptions. And we are not saying that what you have received as far as information from individuals is true nor false. We are not here to comment on hearsay, but we ask you to think with your heart and to examine the possibilities and feel for the nature of why they are disclosing this information. Is it to warn you, or is it to bring attention to themselves, or for other reasons? We merely mention our story to give you something else to think about in which to frame it so that it will work for you and what you believe.
Thank you.
And thank you. Part of our job, which is made harder by those who are not truthful and authentic, is dispelling the many lies, the misleading statements which have been made about our kind. And we are kind. We put the kind in mankind.
Hello again.
Yes.
I was recently in a pub and they had there a lot of wood. And I do have a great love for forests and trees. And I felt the energy of the wood. I felt closer to these big parts of trees that were in this place rather than the people, ironically. But I was wondering if you could speak about the spirit of the trees that still linger in them, even if, like, after they've been cut and put into places where people are.
Trees are groupings. They are part of Mother Nature. They can never be a part of Mother Nature and her energies and her loving ways. even in their parts, they have consciousness and remembrance of what they are, but not from their physical form, from their spirit nature. And they have attachments to those forms which are still physicalized, we will say. Although they do not inhabit them directly, their essence is energetically preserved within them. And there are humans who can be attuned to that, to feel that, or to receive communications from that, just as many of you do to the spirit realms. You receive messages from loved ones, from other beings. And if it is strong enough, especially if you have tapped into that natural rhythm, that loving energy, which comes from Gaia, which flows through all things, then in those rare moments, more rare than what we would like, you can be brought into the resonance of those objects which have lost their former grander glory as a conscious being in wholeness.
Thank you.
And we thank you. And we wish they were remaining whole, but we honor the world which we have inhabited and do inhabit. But being physical among you is not our greatest joy at this time, for we remember when we would be able to play freely at any time amongst our friends, and all were our friends.
Thank you so much for this interaction. I really appreciate you coming and talking with us. Uh, you had mentioned about gifts that some people leave to honor you. What kind of gifts could we leave to show our respect and love and honor for you?
The respect and honor is one of the gifts, but there are gifts of tobacco, natural products which you have formed with your own loving hands, gifts for the forest creatures, and at times things which we do not produce on our own besides the tobacco, and that is more of an individual taste. And we understand that one amongst you, the shining star, can provide you with more details upon that. Some do
Okay.
not. They appreciate the intent and they appreciate the offering, but
Mhm.
many do not partake of those gifts, and nothing which has been prepared by human hands. Your cooked foods spoil quickly and
Mhm.
are ruined because they are not prepared with the energetic love which would imbue them with more of the divine energy which is available which would be more acceptable to us.
You had mentioned things of providing for the forest animals, like nuts and seeds for birds and squirrels. Would those be considered, you know, acceptable offerings?
If they are the types that those native to that area would consume.
Okay.
There are many foods which have been brought from afar,
Mhm.
which are not meant for the particular creatures in your area, perhaps. Not that they will not eat them, but their bodies are designed to flow with the natural and native substances which they would have encountered in their natural state had it been left unmarred by humans. But
Thank
the
you.
most respectful thing you can do is to remove all references that you have been there.
Okay. Yes, I see that. Thank you. Thank you for this interaction and your very kind advice.
And thank you for asking and for being interested. And we do enjoy the drumming and the chanting as well. It is the open hearts that acknowledge the forest and the forest energies which sing our songs as well.
Thank you for coming to speak. Many are coming now in many numbers to speak to humanity. And more humans are getting ready in their hearts to do this. So thank you for bringing your knowledge to this. It's very much appreciated.
And to you for the same. We honor you as you honor us with your presence and your mission of awareness and love and heart.
Thank you.
And we will take our leave. And we ask you to keep nature in your minds and keep your humanity from it and let your divinity be with it. And take measures to restore your environment and desecrate it no more. Mm. That was a different one than the last time. And my shoulders hurt.
It was a wonderful energy.
I guess. Well, thank you. Maybe my shirt was too small for them.
Mm.
It
Oh,
looked like he had quite a bit of time, you know, um, easing himself out. Um, you could almost see with the movements of your body that you can just picture someone in a suit and just, kind of taking off the suit one leg at a time.
well, they're going to be respectful, because they don't wish to harm me.
Right,
So,
right.
they're going to do whatever they do. And I'm sure
Yes.
Arla's had them come through so often that there's no residuals or anything at all. Her body is already acclimated to that. But this is only the third time they've come to me. So,
It's kind of like a swinging door now. Although, although, depending on what they're talking about, a lot of times and with them usually, they come in much easier than they leave. And yes, it's because they are very careful with us. The first time I channeled Kashima, I just slipped right into it, not even knowing I was going to. And then when I finished, I was like a drunk zombie. It's the only way. I mean, because I was just woozy and it felt good. But when they finally, I had friends taking care of me. When I finally was getting myself back, it was like, oh, I'm sleepy. I gotta go to sleep. And we were at a grandmother gathering, and there were mattresses all around the floor, around the perimeter where everybody slept. And I walked over and was standing straight up and just went whoop onto the mattress. And they said afterwards, I said right before I went down, and she went down like a rock. So and he came in. Oh my goodness, yeah. Um, but it was wonderful, and everybody could say, "Oh, you should have seen yourself last night." Doing what you're doing, because I've got this thing. I never drank to get drunk and goofy, because I have this thing about people saying, "Oh, if you only knew what you did." So,
yeah.
uh,
And thank you all. Yeah, and as soon as Christina started saying that, she was in this pub and saw wood, and instantly they said desecrated. But, they wait until you're finished with your thoughts. And it's not like they're against mankind using
no,
the native
no, they're not.
products, but there's a way to do it. You ask permission, you bond, and you get the ones which are meant and are willing to give themselves up. You don't just go clear cutting a forest and remove homes for thousands of things. And, that's why all the indigenous knew that. They did their ceremonies. They knew which ones to go. They knew which trees they would bend over to use as markers to point out where certain things were and that sort of thing. And It was, and it, I wish, well, and I will learn more about that, because they like to harvest things, and one of their biggest things as far as the indigenous was we don't pull up anything by the roots.
Mhm.
We harvest what we need and we leave the plant, and we don't take all of everything. If they went and they said, "Oh, we have a bunch of turkey eggs," well, they were always going to leave about half of what was there for the other critters and for the future generations. And, Mother Nature knew about that. So if there was going to be a shortage, then there would be more somewhere else. But they were in the flow.
My father used to have a garden always when I was growing up, and he taught us always to plant more than we wanted because you had to have extra for the wildlife to come and eat.
Yeah. Some elders teach that you take every seventh plant.
Oh.
And not all elders preach that, but I have talked with some that is how they harvest every seventh plant. That way, when you go into an area, if those particular plants are stressed, then you're extremely careful. I know here several years ago, the purple coneflower people were coming, and it was getting a echinacea is what it's also called, were getting on the highways sides and just stripping it of all the echinacea. And it just broke my heart when we're going down the highway and there are people out there just pulling up huge handfuls of this echinacea. And that's probably been 25 years ago, I guess. And it has become, now it's regenerated quite a bit. And I'm just like, I hope that we don't have that happen again. That is so disrespectful.
And I was smiling inside when they were mentioning that, I was the keeper of the wood. Because I've seen one structure and I've seen where some trees have been taken out and broken off 3 foot above the ground when there wasn't a storm. And it's like, and they've been folded over and pushed together. And it's like, wow. I mean, what kind of strength does it take to take a 40-foot tree and break it off 3 foot off the ground? It's like, wow. But I don't know why or what. I mean, I'm kind of an infant at this, but every day when I get to the forest, I try to pull up invasives and help the other trees grow, and I'll be out there as long as it's warm.
In trying to understand what they're doing and why they do it, Kashima had said one of the first things that he talked about was, and one of his sayings was, do not put your thoughts as a human onto how we should be. And humans anthropomorphize, I almost didn't get it out, everything. We want to make everything human. And when we see the things they do, thinking as a human as to why they did that is most likely not going to get you the answer that's truly there. So when people ask me, well, why do they do that? And I said, well, they choose what they do. They have their reasons. It's not for me to say what they're doing is wrong or right. They choose what they do.
And what they say, because they had more to say on Anita's question, but they did not want to be misunderstood because, if they say, yeah, nuts and berries are good, and then people come and they bring, Brazil nuts and salted cashews,
Right.
and they're like, well, so they just said, whatever's native,
Right.
and we'll
Right.
leave it to that. And I personally don't know what the tobacco.
I've
Like,
heard that before,
and
but
apparently dark chocolate too, because it's more natural. But I don't know. Can you explain something about that, Arla?
About the
About,
tobacco.
yeah,
Mhm.
Tobacco's a ceremonial thing. It's not
they're not
just
going to
a
roll it and
plant.
smoke it.
And they could if they chose to do so. But when you gift them from your heart.
Mhm.
And, through the years, we've gifted and traded with each other unusual things as well. And
Could you give an example?
um, um, I've gifted, like, one time I was walking on my walk down the road and there was this really cool piece of flint and it was pretty good size. And I have a striker so that, I could start a fire with that. Well, I picked it up and it was just beautiful. And I brought it back to the house and I set it down in my room. And then I went back in there and I thought, that is so beautiful. I'm going to take it down to an area where I gifted and traded with them. And they didn't take it. It sat there and it sat there and they used it. After I took it down there and not used it like you think. But I love leaves. I've always loved leaves, and they gift me leaves in very unusual way. Well, when I went back down there, there was a stem of leaves underneath that piece of flint.
Wow.
And that was just, them saying, you gave us this, we give you that, we know. But it still wasn't taken. So one day I was down there and I had part of my hair pulled back in one of those little bitty ties, like you put a ponytail for a little kid in. And I took it off and I just put it around that flint. And, it was kind of not a velvet, but it felt really good. The little, I guess it's rubber that you put it on. And so I left it there. Well, I went back and the next day and it was gone. So
The
they
Flint
took
and
it.
the band?
Yes. So it was like, I know who took that. That would have been baby girl who would have taken that. And like I said, through the years, there's been so much. I didn't gift food much. Every now and then I would take something, but um, I bought apples one year for about Christmas and they were green and red. And I thought those are so cool. I want to go down there and take them. So I had this wire basket type thing that would open up and then you could close it. And I thought, well, if I put it in there, animals won't get it. And so I tied it with a piece of leather lacing that I had, and I put a piece of sage on top. When I went back, the leather lacing was taken. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll take them some more. So the next time I took 2 pieces down there and I tied it loosely on top of the basket by the sage. And when I went back, those were gone. The sage looked like it hadn't been touched or moved or anything, and the apples were still in there. So, they know what they want. And a lot of things I think they do is just to see our reaction. So I taught.
And welcome, Brian. And welcome, Heidi.
Hi.
And Wanda's flashing. Hey, it's beautiful flash. Hey. And we're going to go ahead and wrap up this first session.